In 1982, Mr Hough from Wolverhampton ordered this brand new 500R107SL with every single extra. He stipulated it wasn't to be driven, but was to be trailer delivered to his home, where he kept the car in perfect dry conditions and never drove it. Here we are 43 years later, and the SLSHOP are the lucky custodians of this incredible motor car. That smell of all the conversations I've had over the years with experts, with owners, with restorers, if you get the conversation about the smell, you get the smell. And there has never ever been another SL that I've ever seen or smelt that has got that. And it is, you could almost bottle it. It's just heaven. That noise that 107 owners will be familiar with at the petrol pumps, and with a 500 you have to go fairly frequently to the petrol pumps. Which is great to see. The logo, the Mercedes-Benz logo on the top of the fuel filler cap. No gunk, no dirt, just a bit of rust protection. You can see where the pin, the central locking pin, is going to come out and keep that fuel cap locked. Protective caps in each of the 4 jacking points, which obviously, should you ever need to repair a puncture, not that we ever will on this car, but you slide those out and offer up the jack. We'll show you the jack in a minute. The jack's got quite an interesting feature about it. On the glass, it's lovely to see, obviously, correct matching markings in every piece of the glass. There's something about the lines of these cars, and being here in the studio with it today, it reminds you of the designer and what they were trying to achieve back in the day, with the absolute linear perfection of the design of a 107. And it's just been great to spend a couple of days here in the studio with it, really appreciating what they were about. Completely unspoiled, exactly as it left the factory, exactly as the manufacturer intended. Only non-standard, non-factory element of this car is this sensational solid silver bonnet badge. And when I collected the car, I missed it actually. I was so in awe of the rest of the car that the owner of the car said to me, he said, have you spotted the bonnet badge? I said no, and he said, I made that of solid silver, and it's just it's just the car now. We could change it, of course, but we're not going to. It's got the original, the correct markings here for a solid silver piece, and what a piece of art that is. And it's really all part of the car's history. And one thing that we have always been able to get right on these cars, because it's so important to us, is door gaps. Not only from a visual perspective, but also just in terms of the way that the door is fitted to the car, hangs on the car, and shuts. And it's just lovely to cross-reference and check that visual line and the way that the door shuts is exactly as it should be on the cars that we've been building over all these years. And we've just kind of got a second reference point now with this car. Even the tyres, 1981 tyres, Michelin XWX, correct for the periods, just completing the look of that periodness of this car, this complete car that is exactly as it should be. Just wonderful. There are markings, there are aspects that we've just never seen before, because this engine has never really got up to prolonged temperatures. Just fantastic to see. The most obvious thing that we see here is again the protection, the yellowiness of the protection that was applied at the factory right at the end of production. But we've never seen the stickers at the end of the camshaft covers here, because of course they get hot and they come off, or they get cleaned off. Sometimes we've seen vehicles, super low mile vehicles, with other elements of the stickers, but never one as absolutely complete as this. We've had a look at the engine bay here. There's some fantastic stuff to talk about in the boot area. So the first thing that strikes me when I open the boot here is the boot seal. It's still got the chalky marks from the original mould when it would have come out of its mould. There's still the odd little bit of glue here that we try really hard to conceal when we build these cars, but there's little bits of where the glue went over when it was in production. The bit I love is just to see the reflection here of the correct original part number of the rubber, which is reflected in the chrome, which is nice to see. We've got the first aid kit. Plenty of cars have got that. That's not particularly special as such, but what is lovely to see, absolutely lovely to see, is that untouched wheel. It's not just an untouched wheel. There's quite a few cars that have probably got a spare wheel that's never been on the car, but to see one with, again, the chalkiness, the powdery marks, the factory chalk marks here. I've never seen one that's been so well preserved as that. One of the things that I got the most giddy about was the toolkit. And again, we've seen plenty of toolkits that haven't been opened in terms of the fabric, but I've never seen one before that has never even been taken from its plastic container. So there we are. That was correct new for a 380 SL, an SLC and a 500. And again, another geeky fact for the geeks, that underneath the jack here, there is this cap where the foot stays, and if you lift this cap, you will find the original element of the build data card underneath that cap. What about that? First service sticker, 600 miles. Quite a privilege. This is the first time that the heater fan blower motor has ever been turned on outside its test when it left the factory. Speed 1, speed 2, full speed. Literally every time I come to the car, I see something else, something that makes me smile, something that's just so unique about this car. Everything from when you tilt the seat forward here, there's a little bit of grease. There's a little bit of grease that the technician would have applied just to make sure that the seat tilted and came back to its position exactly as it should. The wax oil rust protection in the transmission tunnel there. The back seats with the seat belts that are clicked in exactly as they would have left the factory. But even things like the protection B-pillar rubber here, the B-pillar chromes, not one single witness mark or scratch on them. They are absolutely perfect, absolutely perfect. Other details, I've never seen a hardtop that hasn't got any bugs, spiders and debris wedged between that inner lining and the glass, this area here. And also the perfect gap here where the water that lands on the outside of the car falls from the glass and goes down underneath that bottom chrome. Of course, that's why they rust. Underneath here, we see these corroded because the water goes down. There are holes for it to go out. It's got to escape somewhere, but probably water gets trapped there. We're never going to take the hardtop off this car, and it's actually, it's great, and it's a great color combination to see that combination of chrome on this blue-green metallic.